Hey everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is your
Behavior Tip of the Week.
Today, we are going to be talking about a strategy that is super important to teach your students, and we call it Oh Well or Go Tell.
So we're going to talk about some things that you want to remind your students as you're teaching these strategies. And this is super important because we don't want them to feel like problems they may come across aren't a problem, right? It's a problem, but how you handle it. And this is how we're going to work through teaching them that.
So an oh well is something that happens to you that you can move on from without having to inform someone else. So the important parts here are that students should still learn strategies for expressing their feelings to other people involved in a productive way. It just might not require an additional adult to know about it. And honestly, this is how we handle a lot of our problems as we get older. So it's important that we teach kids how to do this when they're younger as well.
Absolutely.
It's also important, though, when we talk about this, that we don't make it seem like an oh well isn't actually a problem. It's just not the type of problem that we need that additional assistance with. So please don't mistake like, oh, when somebody does this to you, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
It is a big deal, and it is a problem. It's just using the terms of oh well is helping students understand that, like, I can work through this on my own, and I can independently express how I'm feeling. And we want to be able to get them kind of to that place where they're able to do that. And honestly, guys, sometimes students need to learn the skill of brushing off small things that just don't go exactly as they expect them to, because not everything everybody says or does really needs a reaction, and sometimes it can make it worse. So when you're teaching about oh well, it's also a good way to kind of incorporate the fact that sometimes things that bother us, we just really do need to brush off.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other side of that is go tell. So go tell is something that when it happens, the student should inform someone else about it, right? This is something that either I need help problem solving, or maybe the situation's unsafe and I really do need that adult of support. So in this, we want students to actually practice, right? Role play with them, practice telling someone no in a firm voice, whether it's a peer that they're interacting with, whether it's an adult they're interacting with, having that scenario and saying no and exiting the situation and immediately going to find someone that can help them. Help them identify too who those people that they're going to be going to are. Who are your trusted adults in this scenario? So if I'm in aftercare, who am I going to go tell versus if I'm in the classroom or in the cafeteria, or I mean, even good to talk about in the home setting, right? Absolutely. Who are those trusted adults and who should I be going to tell when these scenarios occur?
And both of these things really connect to teaching kids about the size of the problem. Is it a small problem, something I can manage on my own, or I should try to manage on my own first? Or is it a big problem and that I really need to get extra help and assistance with?
Right.
So what's the difference? Some oh wells might be something like someone says something unkind, something doesn't go your way, or someone's doing something they shouldn't be, but it's not unsafe, like getting out of their seat or playing on their phone during class, things like that. Or if an adult is already handling the situation, that would be really important to teach kids to recognize whether or not they already know if it's being handled in some way.
Absolutely. And then on the go tell side, anytime you feel it's unsafe, anytime you feel unsafe, you have a right to say no, and you want to tell someone about that immediately. Other situations would be someone else is being unsafe. So if another student in the room is getting ready to hurt themselves or getting ready to hurt someone else, that would absolutely be a time to go tell. Also, something in the area is unsafe, right? Sometimes we find something out on the field, or we notice something in the room, right? If you see something unsafe, that would be a go tell situation. Or someone in the room is hurt or sick. And this is a visual that we made to support you guys. Use it, right? When you're working through this with your kids, when you're teaching them, use this visual for them to really understand what are situations that I can brush it off, shrug it off, oh well,
yeah.
And what are situations that I really need to come find somebody and go tell.
And you may want to have some like little scenario cards that you guys make up, or you talk through things that have happened in your classrooms or with your students, and then kind of help them with categorizing it. And then the last slide is going to talk about, okay, so what can I say? So if it's an oh well, we want to teach them to express their feelings in a productive way. They can still use a firm and strong voice, and then they need to try to move on. So here's an example. You don't have permission to call me names. And then you teach them to move on. Or when you blank, I feel blank, and I need you to blank. It's kind of like a good sentence frame that you can teach your kids and they can practice using, so that in scenarios where there are problems between peers or between that are just oh well type of scenarios, they have something they can go to right away that they have practiced and they know how to say. And there's lots of other things as well, but these are just two examples.
Absolutely. So some ideas for the go tell side: using that firm, strong voice and saying no, again, whether this is with peers or another adult, and stopping that interaction right then and there. So I don't have to continue to listen to it or be a part of this situation that's making me feel unsafe, and immediately go get someone who can help. So some examples: no, stop, saying things like, you don't have permission to touch me, and then walking away and getting some help. Walk away immediately and find that trusted adult and tell them exactly what happened in the situation.
And I think it's important too to tell kids how to handle it if they are not able to walk away. Do they need to yell for help? Do they need to ask somebody else to go get help? So those are all kind of things that you can talk through, and it would be situation and scenario based. So, oh well,
Or go tell.
Is a strategy that's really important to teach our kids and to kind of keep revisiting periodically, I think, throughout the year, especially as different things are happening and occurring with them in the classroom and on the school campus. It's something that you could definitely come back to. So we hope you found it valuable, and
we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us for the behavior tip of the week.
Bye.